Oftentimes when I talk to spouses who are in crisis, I'll hear both unfaithful or betrayed say something like, well, we kind of did a little bit of work, or we, you know, did a little bit here and there, and it didn't really work, or we got better, but then we got worse. It just, we really didn't really commit to it. And I will tell you, the people that heal the quickest and most effectively in the shortest amount of time are those who are all in. And the thing about recovery is, it's going to require all of you. And I will tell you, this past year, there have been numerous challenges as a father for me. I have had rooms in my soul, if you will, that I didn't even know were there, have to be confronted and visited. I will tell you, it's easy to talk this way, which will keep me from getting too emotional, because nobody wants to see that. But there's been rooms in my soul that I've never even known were there, and I certainly have never been to them. And there's been situations throughout this year that have caused me to actually realize that they were there. And then I had a choice. Do I want to visit those rooms for healing, or do I want to continue to run from those rooms? And there's been a two-step process, right? One was going, whoa, I didn't even know that was there. And it hasn't necessarily been infidelity as much as it's been childhood origin issues and trauma from childhood issues. So after I've kind of seen, whoa, I didn't know that was there, now I have to go to that room if I really want to heal. And that's been really painful. That's been really difficult. Actually, sometimes it's not been difficult at all. It's actually been a choice, because there's been healing, but there hasn't been confrontation. Meaning I have experienced a lot of healing from some abandonment and some really difficult, traumatic injuries as a child. But I've experienced the healing, but I didn't know that there was residue, because that residue was affecting the way I was parenting. And so as I've allowed myself to, or actually as I've kicked myself in the teeth and said, you're going to have to confront this, both with obviously God's grace, but intentionality, and some conversations with Rick and some of the other therapists even that facilitate our EMS weekend, I've been able to visit those rooms, and there's been some great healing. Now, a lot of those things Samantha hasn't even known about. You are some of the only people that actually I've shared this with, and it's been really cathartic. But the thing about recovery is it will require all of you if you want to heal. You can't have these rooms that you're unwilling to talk about or unwilling to visit. And we all have them, because we've all been through different challenges in life. Some of it happened when we were young. Some of it happened during discovery and the understanding of infidelity or addiction. Some of us had some very traumatizing things happen to us when we were a kid, but I assure you those rooms are there, and if you're not willing to admit that they're there, that's going to keep you from healing. And then if you're not willing to visit those rooms, it's going to keep you from healing, and it's going to keep you from development as a man or a woman, as a healed vessel, which then can help other people go to their rooms and confront those rooms and actually experience healing. In my parenting struggles this year, I have felt like there was this giant wet towel that you pick up out of a bucket and you wring it out, and you have to really wind it tight to get all the water and soap out. And I have, in all honesty, felt like this year has been exactly like that. Whether it be finances, whether it be struggles with parenting issues, whether it be even just things that Samantha and I have had to confront that aren't infidelity related, I have been wrung out. And it's hurt like hell. It's really been difficult at times. There's been a lot of good things this year, and there's been a lot of wringing out this year. And I'm smiling because I'm being positive, because it's really had its challenges. And I know for those of you that watch this video blog religiously, you are experiencing the same thing. And I will tell you, you're going to have to be all in. Let me talk to you unfaithful spouses that are a little bit in, a little bit out. I'm sorry. Consider me a friend, but consider me a friend that will tell you the truth, that until you're willing to go all in, you're never going to be healed. You just won't. You may think things are healed because they will stop talking about it and they won't necessarily, bring it up, but it's going to come back to bite you in a few months, in a couple of years. I promise you. I don't want to share the story, but I will just kind of give some wide angle truths about the story that, an unfaithful spouse and I were talking, and they were like, man, things are going well. And I said, well, what did you do? And they said, well, we didn't really do much, but she's so understanding and she's so gracious that we were able to really kind of talk about it and really heal from it. And, we're doing pretty well. So thanks for the call, and we're good. And I said, okay. I tried to say, and he was like, no, we're good. I said, okay. Well, he called me about 7, 8 months later, and everything had hit the fan because what they didn't talk about and they didn't confront came back to absolutely wreak havoc upon their life. You have no idea the havoc, the chaos, the destruction that will come if you try and run from this and don't confront it. See, if you're an unfaithful spouse and there's this little room that you don't want to go to, or there's this stuff that you don't want to talk about, call it fate, call it God, call it the recovery process, I don't know. You're going to be continually pushed into that room. It's like a room you don't want to be pushed into, but there's like a group of people and they keep shoving you and boxing you in and punching you and kicking you, all to get you to go into that room. And if you'll simply just go into that room, they'll leave you alone, but you keep wanting to fight against it. And until you'll go into that room, you'll never be able to know what's in that room and heal from what's in that room and walk out of that room into another season of breakthrough and victory over what's in that room. You see, if I'm getting very real, there's some things about when I lost my dad to cancer when I was 23 some odd years old that I didn't really confront back then. I was just too young. There was a lot going on with professional baseball and just chaos, and there's a lot of things I didn't confront, and I've had to confront them. There's a lot about the healing process of infidelity that I had to embrace the fact that, I really wish I knew my dad better before he died. I really wish I had grown up differently. It's been a tightrope, right? Because I've tried to not fall prey to blaming God or blaming my dad that I didn't have my dad growing up, because if I did, I wouldn't have been such a train wreck and I maybe wouldn't have committed infidelity. I've tried to stay away from that. But there is truth to the fact that if I really didn't have some traumas and some tragedies go on when I was young, that I wouldn't be the same person that I am with some of the weaknesses and the inefficiencies and some things about me that I absolutely hate. But what I have learned through going to room to room to room is the reality that, what? I've accepted the way I grew up, and I've accepted the fatherlessness that I had to kind of go through. And I've accepted that I made my own choices. Yeah, I grew up with some really difficult circumstances, and it hurt like hell. And I'm extremely grateful and humbled that my children have not had to grow up that same way. But growing up the way that I have has made me who I am, and I'm still a work in progress. You still are a work in progress. But my challenge is, how much progress are you allowing to happen in your life? And are you running from rooms that you need to simply open the door, walk in, confront it, heal from it, and then walk out into the next season of your life?